In this video, we're going to install the web server role on Windows Server 2008. Now first off, before I begin, I should say that my server is a domain controller and Microsoft recommends that you don't install the web server role on a domain controller, probably with functionality issues, but I'm going to do it anyway, seeing that it's just a basic tutorial. So we're going to start off on the server manager. We're going to click roles, go over to add roles, and then we click on the bottom here, web server, or the IIS. That's the Internet Information Service, and when you click that, this pop-up will come up saying that there are required features needed to be installed for this to work. So I'm going to click add required features and click next. I'm just going to do a little extra, add a little extra features here, some authentication features, but you could leave it at the default if you want. I'm going to click next, install. Okay, so the installation has completed successfully. So you're going to click close. I'm going to close off this. Alright. Now, when you go, after the installation, when you go over to administrative tools, you're going to see Internet Information Services Manager. That's the console we'll be using to configure the web server. Okay, so this is the IIS console. We're going to go down to server. Sites. And here you'll see the default website. Okay, but before I continue with this, I have my website here in this folder on the desktop. But what I want to do actually is to move this. So I'm going to go and start computer, go into the C drive, and on the C drive you'll see a folder called inetpub. That is the folder that's created when you install the IIS. This is the folder that has everything for the web server, and this one, www.root, is the default folder for the default website. I'm going to put my folder in here, and the reason I'm doing this, let me show you here. So it will inherit the properties of the parent folder. So when you go over to security, you'll see all these groups or users with read privileges, some have write privileges, and of course the administrators will have full control. I'm going to click OK. Cool. Close. And now before I go back to the IIS, I'm going to go to my DNS manager, right? And I'm going to go on forward lookup zones. And what I'm going to do is create a new zone. I will leave everything at the default primary zone. I'm going to name the zone Delta Brand. click next, finish. I'm going to go into the zone and create a new host. For the host name, I'm going to put www, and the IP address 192.168.1.1. that is the IP address of my server. I'm going to leave this checked here, create associated pointer record. This will create automatically the reverse pointer in the reverse lookup zones. You click add, it tells you it was created successfully. Okay, done. When you go to reverse lookup zones, and in here we'll see the reverse pointer was just created. Cool. So now I can close this and I can go back to my IIS folder. Now I'm going to stop the default website because I don't want to use it. Or actually, let me start it back so I can demonstrate how it looks like. When you click browse, it will automatically open up Internet Explorer and you should see the default web page for the web server. See there, you see there? But I'm not going to use that. I want to put up my own site, so I'm going to stop it. Now, you go onto sites and click add website. You give this site a name. You call it my website. And for the application pool, I actually want to keep the default app pool because I'm not going to do anything special with the website. Physical path, you click the button to browse and you direct it to the actual parent folder of your website. Mine will be in local C, inetpub, www.root, my site. Click OK. Alright, the host IP address, I'm going to put the IP address for my server. Now my server is actually connected to two network adapters. One is the internal adapter and this one here is the bridge adapter, which I'm using to get internet from my actual host machine. Now this IP address is assigned by DHCP, but the one underneath here for the internal network is the static IP address, is the one I'm going with. But that's the IP address for my actual domain, everything. Now in the host name, we're going to put the exact name we created in the lookup zone on the DNS server, www.tel.brand. And we're going to click, well, you can leave this check, start website immediately. Click OK. And the website is created. So we go down to the website now, just to test it out. We click here, browse. And here we see the website came up, and this is a website I created on my own. So we know that the host is working. Oh, now what I'm going to show you now, what if I type the IP address that's associated with the host I created? You won't get anything. You'll get a page saying the page is not found. So what I did, I go onto bindings on the right hand side here. So here's where you can add extra hosts, multiple hosts, different IP addresses. So what I am going to do, I'm actually going to add the binding for the default website. I'm just going to leave it like that. See, they gave you the error message though, that this binding is assigned to another site, which was the default website, but that's the default binding. So it appends the website to the actual local host, and which is the IP address of the server, which is the actual server machine. They're gonna ask you if you want to duplicate the binding. Click yes, click close. And the default website, as you see here, is stuck. So we ain't really worrying about the binding, and if you just want to be safe, you could delete this. But when I click here now I see localhost in the address bar and the website comes up. Right? And now if we type in the IP address of the server, we should see the website comes up still. Now we can go into default documents and we want to move this file index.html to the top for it to get top priority. Now the names of the documents, the default document actually is the document that the server will push to the browser once the user select a specific file. They actually tell you it here. And seeing that my home page name is index.html, we want to move it up. So we click move up, say yes, and move it straight to the top. Right, so it's just in case, and if your home page isn't listed here, or you have it under a different name, you can always click add here, and you can add in the name of your home page and put it to the top. Now what I want to do, actually, I want to create directory browsing, or demonstrate it at least. So we go back to the folder, the website. In here I'm going to create a new folder. Let's call this images. I'm going to copy some images here. Use the same images, paste it in the folder, and go back on this. I'm going to add virtual directory. Actually, we could use the directory browsing on the actual image folder, but I'm going to add a virtual directory. I'm going to name it images, and we can append it to the physical part of the same images folder. Click OK. I'm going to click OK. Now on images, you can go into directory browsing and click enable. Right? And we can go on authentication. See, there's anonymous authentication. We could disable that, and I want to enable basic authentication. Cool. So now when I browse, see, they ask you for username and password to actually enter the site. So enter the credentials of a user on the network, on the domain, sorry. Click OK. And there we see, this is the directory with the images. Alright. Now I can also put a link on my website. There we get the link. You can see the images. And also with the default binding, I'm actually supposed to be able to connect to the site from my host machine because they share a connection, so my host machine should be able to read the IP address. And then I type in 192.168.0.117 and I click enter. Now remember, this is the IP address I'll have to use, because this is the IP address that my host machine communicates my server with my server. I can't use the next IP address because that is the IP address for the domain, and my host machine is not part of the domain. So there you see it, the website comes up. Here's the link, and now we can log in. With my credentials for the server to access the directory browsing. And there you see it, so we can get the images here. That's how you set it up. You can double check it again. 192.168.1.1. You could also type in localhost. As you see, that's how you host the website. Set up the web server to host the website. Okay, I have my on-screen phone here and my computer, which I'm going to use to demonstrate how we can access the website that we hosted on the server through your mobile phone once it's connected to the same wireless network that the server was sharing on the bridge adapter with the host computer. So this is my phone here, and open it up. I'm not going to use the internet. I'm going to use Google Chrome, and in the address bar we typing in 192.168.0.117, which was the IP address that the server had on the bridge adapter. When we click go, we should see the site that we hosted coming up on the phone. Cool. So there we have it. That's the site that I created. Yes, I'm a very big Lloyd Banks fan. I could also demonstrate the directory browsing. So when I click the images link, that doesn't look like an image. There we have the prompt that comes up asking for the credentials to log in to use the directory browsing. So I'm just gonna type in the credentials here. Click login and we should see the directory come up. No, never save the password. And there we have it coming up there. Let me zoom in. So there you can see the directory, the IP address 192.168.0.117, /images, and the images that I put into the folder. And you can actually select what you want to display, like the date created, the time, the size, whatever. So that's all that what you're seeing there. Date, time, size in bytes. And we can click on one of the images and there we see the image come up. Try the next one. And that's how you host the web server, the website on the web server, sorry.